Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be jumping into the Bitcoin price action to see if the bottom is truly in, or are we going to be going lower, right? Are we going to see below $60,000 again, or is the corrective phase almost over? Meaning we will see up only from here, and if I had to guess, I would definitely say it's the latter. I don't think we're going to be seeing $60,000 again. You know, there's always that small chance, right? Even if we are bullish that they do want to sweep these lows and we could get a liquidity grab on that, but those are good lows. There's no reason to really do that. You know, if we were to correct here, I think we won't get any lower than this previous day value area low. So could we sweep this one more time, you know, because Bitcoin just loves to keep sweeping sweeps and not letting leverage traders stay in? It's possible, right? That's a possibility there. But overall, I still think it's more likely this is your low here. And if you are in a position from there, you know, just obviously get your stop at entry, because Bitcoin price did reject off of the hourly EMA and value high once again, right? My last video didn't have time to really let price play out. We were sitting, you know, right up here. This candle was green, holding these supportive levels on the value area high. And then, of course, right after I uploaded that video, we did go ahead and fail that. So, you know, pretty objective swing failure of these higher levels. And I think a lot of that is due to this daily EMA, right? There's a ton of sellers up at this level. You can see that with this new kind of order flow indicator I got. It's the Lux Algo money flow profile. It was trending on TradingView, so I went ahead and slapped it on here. Seems like an interesting indicator. I'm going to be trying it out for the next couple of weeks or so to see how effective it is. So far, so good. You can see this is a high volume node, the yellow box, whereas the red box is a high delta node. So it tells me there's a lot of sellers in this area, right, on the daily EMA. So that's why we're taking some time to get through it. But I definitely do expect we get through those volume levels. And the reasoning for this is simply, if you look at the S&P here, this thing is not bearish, right? We have a clean back test on the daily EMA, so that looks really good on a daily time frame. You know, if you do jump in here to a 4-hour, you do have somewhat of a, you know, bearish divergence, right? You have higher highs on price, whereas you have lower highs on the RSI down here. So, you know, you can see we slightly have a 4-hour bear div. Is this going to play out? Maybe, maybe not, right? You don't even have it locally here, so whereas you have a higher highs locally, you have higher highs on the RSI as well. So we do have strength here locally. I don't really expect that 4-hour bear div to play out, but you know, there's definitely the small possibility this is just a fake out to the upside now, whereas we had the fake out to the downside was this red daily. This could be a fake out to the upside, and we do go ahead and fail it once again. But right now it is looking really good, and it will look good on the close because we only have 1 hour left. So there's really no chance you are going to get that daily close under the EMA. You are going to be holding this on a daily, so it looks really, really good there. And how the correlation normally goes is S&P will run it first, and then Bitcoin will follow after playing with the leverage, because a lot of times, you know, people will see S&P being bullish, they will long Bitcoin. Bitcoin will then sweep those longs before continuing up following the S&P. So that's probably what we're seeing here locally, right? Bitcoin just taking out liquidity, building those short positions, which will inevitably make it go up more when it does, because it'll have more shorts to squeeze. But you can see here, you know, held the 786 there pretty good, back above golden pocket. So all you want to see now is just this golden pocket hold. I'm pretty convinced it will, right? If I had to guess, that's going to hold. Then we'll go ahead, start closing on top of these volume levels, and off and away we go. So I do think the corrective phase for Bitcoin is coming to an end here. Everything's looking real good on the charts. Nothing is worrying me. So yeah, Bitcoin is looking real good. I expect that to be the low. If we do go over here to total 3, right, your altcoin market, you can see that's still holding this low right here, right? And if we look at fractals, right, I believe we're definitely in, you know, either January or February when it comes to the altcoin market of 2021. So if we do go look at those time frames, right, I think we're either, you know, here or here when it comes to the altcoin market. I do think we probably are all the way up here though in the altcoin market, right? We really only have one big wave left. But, you know, there's still the chance that we do have the entire run ahead of us. But either way, you do see after these big liquidity sweeps, right, we do go ahead and kind of chop in here for a little bit before heading on up. So it makes sense that we are kind of just chopping right now, right? It's not just going to go to the moon right away. So, you know, chop in here for a little bit, and then very soon here we will be heading on up in the altcoin market. So real exciting times there, right? We have the altcoin season ahead of us. Speaking of which, if you saw my last video, I was talking about Radiant RXD, right? I thought it was a very undervalued gem. If we do go ahead and jump over to that chart, you can see we did have a massive dump on it, right? I did say I was going to buy a little bit up here and all the way down. I did go ahead and put my money where my mouth is, right? I bought, you know, a tiny bit here, but I did, you know, really start DCAing on this hourly EMA. I bought the back test of this trend, and I'm buying still down here at the lows. Now I will say the fact that we are back in this wedge could tell you that, hey, we are probably going to go ahead and hunt this low down here, right? And if we were to do that, I would be scooping up more at those lows, right? I'm not going all in or anything. I'm just slowly DCAing in, but I am starting to go pretty heavy into this position because I do think we're at a really good buying opportunity, and I'm just not going to bet that we will get all the way down there to the low because Bitcoin, I think, is about to end its corrective phase, right? A lot of altcoins were down overnight because that's just what the market's been doing, right? Bitcoin pulled back a little bit, doing a back test of that 786. So it did make sense that we get a pullback here. We did have that rally into the MEXC listing. So, obviously a lot of sellers that think they need to sell during a listing event because I think it's a sell the news event. But once those sellers are exhausted, I can almost guarantee you that this thing will rally pretty hard, right? I'm expecting it to, especially if they do start getting more listings. I heard somewhere they were going to try to get a Gate.io listing. I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate. I don't know if they got that confused with MEXC. I just kind of heard that from a YouTuber. I was watching another YouTube video kind of covering Radiant, just doing more research on it and whatnot, more of the fundamental side. So there might be that listing coming. Don't take my word for it though. But I thought I'd throw this in the video as well, just because I do know there's someone out there that probably bought the highs right here because they watched my video, and I don't want them to feel like they made the wrong decision, right? If you did your own research and you like the fundamentals of this coin, this pullback should not scare you. This is something that can definitely happen on any exchange listing. Usually you just hold through the volatility. Sellers will get exhausted, and then when you do continue up, the FOMO will be twice as hard because it's on MEXC now, which has double the volume of all the other exchanges it was listed on combined, as well as you are running out of that dumping power, right? Because we are so close to these bear market lows. That's why this coin is so much better, in my opinion, to be buying now, because there aren't holders that have already made, a 10x on the coin, right? Most people bought probably in this range here, and they're up, roughly 25% right now. So, I don't think there's a whole bunch of people that are going to decide to sell on a 20% gain. If they do decide to sell, they're not going to be selling a whole lot because they're only up 20%. And that's the whole reason I am buying this coin, is it's still in the bear market range. It still hasn't had its rally yet. So yeah, risk to reward on this thing, still think is really good. This dump is not scaring me at all. I'm just scooping up more. Again, not financial advice. Just thought I'd throw it in the video. Coming back to Bitcoin real quick, I did just want to touch on worst case scenario. I did remake my charts here. I have, the edge identifier, which is this current view, right, to identify my edge for taking a trade. And then I have the level identifier to identify the levels I would be taking a trade at. I did see a level that is lower, that if we were to get there, I might actually take a long position. And that is going to be all the way down here at this weekly value area low. You can see it's all the way down here below all of these lows, right? So if we were to get a sweep of that liquidity, this would be my target. I could see us retesting this weekly value area low since we haven't really tested it. Worst case scenario, if we do get down there, just be aware of that, and I wouldn't be, panic selling at this level. This level is $59,179. Do I think we're going to get down there? Absolutely not. No, as I've already stated, I think the low is in right here, and I do expect us to go ahead and squeeze on up, breaking these weak highs that we had previously. So I definitely would not expect this to happen whatsoever. I just kind of wanted to cover it because I did see that level. So, worst case scenario, I do think that's potential where we go, right? Obviously, worst case scenario is that the bull run's already over. And we don't even find support there, right? We just kind of crash and plummet and burn. Anything is a possibility, right? It's all just probabilities, but much higher chance the low is already in right now, unless we have a nuclear war that suddenly breaks out, which I don't think is likely. So yeah, I just wanted to cover that. And this is my level identifier chart. So if you think this is ridiculous, the amount of boxes and stuff, these are not boxes that I drew manually, and I'm not using all of these, right? So I kind of confluenced them together. I have different indicators here. You can see at the top left if you want to add these to your charts. These are order blocks right here. Then I have fair value gaps right here. Then I have vector boxes right here. Then these are the daily value areas as well as weekly value areas right here. So this is everything I can use to help identify a level, volume levels as well as imbalances. So each of those boxes are different types of imbalances you can have in a chart. So, the more of them you have confluenced together, can help you identify levels. That's why there's so much on this screen. What I'll do is I'll just find where you have the most amount of imbalances, the most amount of confluences, and then I can mark that out on my other chart on the edge identifier, so that when we actually do get to those levels, so I can know, you know, that's a level that I will be able to take a trade at, because you can't just take a trade at any level, right? You have to identify the level, then identify your edge, then you can take a leverage trade. Make sure to join the Discord, link is in the description if you want more of that, you know, technical analysis type stuff, right? If you are a leverage trader and you want to get in a community that I'm building to actually do leverage trading, that is not a paid community, right? So you can go ahead and join that for free. Ask me any questions you got, especially if they are about leverage trading, because that's kind of my specialty, if you will. Real interested in the whole you know, math behind trading and that sort of thing, and that's all it is, just math probabilities. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.